Good afternoon, folks. And tonight we're going to talk about where the state of Michigan and the state of Ohio State right now. And Oregon. I mean, the last time Ohio State ever... right now we got to look at where Oregon is versus Ohio State and Michigan. Ohio State pretty much was coming off a bye week, got to play Marshall. It looks like it's going to be a good game. I look for it to be pretty good. I mean, Ohio State might just win it straight off like they have been. Dominate the line of scrimmage. Oregon, on the other hand, they take on a really good team. Oregon will take on a very good team of... Let me look at the stats here. Oregon will take on UCLA, who just pretty much got pummeled by Indiana. I mean, I don't know if UCLA didn't come to play that game, but they got a whole week of preparation for them. But this is the Oregon I know that knows how to play. Now, Michigan, on the other hand, they got to take on USC, who's had a whole week to prepare for them. Now, Michigan, who... I've had to actually do some research on this, actually. This took some deep digging. When I saw the stats, I was like, is this really true? The last time a quarterback has completed every single pass, despite there ever being an interception to the other team, and never thrown an incomplete pass. I literally had to dig through the Michigan stats just to see this, which I've never done before. And it's never been done at all. This is a first for Michigan. A complete first. Now, looking at going 11 of 11 for... He went 11 for 14 overall, completed 11 passes to his own players, and the other 3 passes that were completed were interceptions. This is absolutely a first for Michigan. An absolute first in Michigan history. Completing every single pass, 3 to the wrong team. 11 to the other team. 11 to 14. Now, on the other hand, Alex Orji came in relief, completed one pass, was 2 of 4, 1 completion for a certain amount of yards, 1 touchdown pass, and 2 incomplete passes. Those were the only incomplete passes of the entire game. Now, everyone's saying Alex Orji looks pathetic. I don't know. I mean, they say he's more of a running quarterback, and pretty much it proved it. Because they looked more like an Akron on steroids out there. Because every time he would come in, they would kind of do like what Akron was doing to Ohio State. Except they were ready for him. Akron would run, and then they would be ready for him. And voila. When Akron was running and Ohio State wasn't prepared for that play, it'd be presto. Akron would be right on him. The passing game. Then they'd have the running quarterback in there, and then be the running play. Which is technically what Orji is a running quarterback. He barely ever passes. And when he does, it's only a disguise. It's when the running back goes in motion. They're ready for him. It pretty much will give them away. And that's why the 31-12 victory by Texas, Texas stampeded all over the Wolverines, 31-12, made it look so bad. Because he pretty much will give away their position. That's literally what happened here. I mean, if I look at certain things here, now Oregon finally played the way I figured they would actually play. They stormed right past Oregon State, 49-14. Played like I thought they would finally play. Oregon played lights out, 24 of 24-28, if I remember right. I can't remember. I don't have those stats in front of me. But he pretty much Dylan Gabriel completed literally almost every pass. I think the stats are over here. Let me see here. No, they don't. My apologies. I don't have the stats with me, so I apologize for that. But if I remember right, I think he went and he had they had literally almost, it was literally lights out. And he literally passed over 400 some odd yards. So that's telling you something about Oregon. And UCLA, on the other hand, if they're going to compete with Oregon, they're going to have to step up their game, because Indiana, all in honesty, I'm not bought by Indiana fully yet. I mean, if they're going to beat anybody, I have to see them play like other teams that are ranked teams. I'm not saying UCLA is weak or anything, but I got to see them play somebody really good to be bought on them. And right now, I've yet to see them play anybody real significant, any very strong significance. Right now, I feel like UCLA is overrated, maybe. And it's just what it is. I mean, these guys pretty much will play like, hey, this is it. This is the ball game. And pretty much, the way you gotta view some things, I mean, I gotta look at how, and there's gonna be some things down the road that I'm gonna talk about when Georgia comes around. I'm gonna we're gonna do a little research on Oregon, on Michigan and Ohio State, how they won their games and how they won. And then we'll do them when Ohio State goes into the bowl game. We'll talk about them. But it's very entertaining how these teams have played each other in the past, because Ohio State seems to be on the upswing, while Michigan seems to be going on the downswing right now. Right now, I just don't see how that's going to be the largest total defeat for Michigan. Because Michigan right now seems to be falling as they go. But who knows? I don't know. I mean, despite this cheating scandal that goes on with Michigan right now, which I feel is the main reason why they're not doing so good right now, because they don't have the same signs as everybody else. So, with that being said, that's the thing that you gotta figure out. Now, what do you need to do if you're Michigan if you want to actually try to succeed at winning? One, know your opponent. Know how to win the game. Secondly, Davis Warren was not a bad quarterback. I really thought he put up some significant yardage, walk on. Now, the last time this ever actually happened, they've ever switched quarterbacks in the middle of the season without any injuries, that is. You gotta go way back to the Schembechler era. You gotta go back to 1972. When, let me think here, either 72 or 74. 74 season, I believe. I can't remember. That's when, I can't remember when Dennis Brown was quarterback, I believe. I can't remember the name of the quarterback, but Dennis Brown, I think, was the quarterback, and he ended up getting replaced by another quarterback. And because he wasn't pulling up to par. Not that they were losing, but he was throwing too many interceptions, so he switched quarterbacks, while Ohio State, on the other hand, had Cornelius Green. And Cornelius Green was pulling very strongly. He was doing so well, they put him in charge. They kept him in. So, There you have it. Well, we all know how that turned out, so with that being said, and then with that at the end, Ohio State ended up beating, and then we're going to do some research on these games and Ohio State, how they pulled off victories. I got the Ohio State dictionary here that actually says when Ohio State's last time Ohio State ever won big or lost big, and when they won the league titles. We're going to go by league titles, seasons, not all seasons, but league title seasons, and when they were co-champs, also national title champs, those years. We'll talk about those years. Same with Michigan. We're going to print off those stats, and we're going to go over how they won those games. With that being said, I'm out of here. Peace.